Domingo Herman pitched a perfect game and people are absolutely furious. People are furious over Domingo Herman's perfect game. It's really strange to me. It's just strange, but it's the internet. It's 2023. Like, people are bitter. They're gonna find anything to be negative for whatever reason, and it's just super weird to me. I can't believe I saw a perfect game. Now, before I get into the bitter side of things, I do want to focus in and congratulate Domingo Herman on pitching a perfect game, and the New York Yankees, preserving that perfect game, because a perfect game is a team effort. It takes all 9 guys on the field to field their position at a high level and not make any errors. No errors, no walks, no hits. Domingo Herman and the New York Yankees were perfect on June 28th, 2023. Now, growing up, there was a few perfect games. I remember watching baseball. My earliest memories of watching baseball are 2008. The last time there was a perfect game was 2012, and ironically enough, there was 3 perfect games in 2012. So I'm not sure what was in the air in 2012. 3 perfect games happened. It's pretty insane. Philip Humber, Matt Cain, and Felix Hernandez was the last guy to throw a perfect game. Philip Humber, I don't remember Philip Humber all that much. I don't remember that perfect game all that much. Matt Cain, I do remember Matt Cain's perfect game. I remember, of course, growing up having MLB Network, I remember Matt Cain's perfect game very vividly, well as Felix Hernandez's perfect game as well. We haven't seen it since then, and it's like 2012, we're in 2023. Time is flying by. I started this channel in 2020, like that was only 8 years ago, 2020, 2012. Like, time is flying by. It's crazy. It's crazy, but it took 11 years for another perfect game to happen. The 24th perfect game in Major League Baseball history. It should be 25 because Armando Galarraga got absolutely robbed. Just one of the saddest stories in baseball. But as it stands in the record books, it's 24. The Yankees would win the game over the Athletics 11-0, and as well as the bitterness, adding on to the bitterness, it's like, oh, it's the Oakland A's. It's a minor league team. They're the worst team in baseball. Well, how come nobody else was throwing a perfect game against them this year if they're the worst team in baseball? In fact, the Oakland A's had the longest no-hit streak against them, or non-no-hit streak against them. The last time they were no-hit or had a perfect game thrown against them was 1991, the longest streak in baseball. It's phenomenal that they were not no-hit or had a perfect game against them since 1991. That's incredible. And now the longest streak belongs to the Washington Nationals. Just little interesting nuggets there. I was watching that game. I watched a good portion of that game. Again, man, shout out to Domingo Herman. I was on the edge of my seat, even as a Dodger fan. Like, I was rooting. Like, you want to see this stuff. I've seen 2 no-hitters live in person. Like, you want to see this stuff. Like, even as a fan, like, I seen the Cubs no-hit the Dodgers twice at Dodger Stadium. Gets to the 7th inning. Like, I'm rooting for the Cubs. I want to see a no-hitter. I want to see a no-hitter. Especially if the game is not, if the game's in reach, like, maybe I kind of want to see the Dodgers win, but I was rooting actively for a no-hitter to see history, and luckily it happened. It's awesome. 24 perfect games in MLB history. They don't happen every day. They don't happen every year. MLB has been in existence since 1869. Do the math. It's pretty rare. And of course, to finish off, again, you see all this bitterness on social media. And Domingo Herman's history isn't a great history, right? It's not a great history. Everybody makes mistakes, and I'm not here to defend the guy on what he did. That's not what I'm saying we're trying to do. What I am saying is the fact that everybody zones in on his past and his past mistake of domestic abuse. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad. People need to get outside more. They got to live a little bit more. And let's not, like, bring down a guy who just made MLB history, one of the rarest things, if not the rarest thing in baseball, a perfect game. We're focusing on a guy's mistake that he made, years ago. The internet is this way. Like, we focus on the negative things. And I'll probably get a negative comment and say, like, oh, I'm such a bad person for defending. I'm not defending them on what he did. Like, I'm not saying what he did is good. Of course not. But what I am saying is the fact that you look at the comments, a lot of comments on MLB's post or whatever you see on Twitter, a lot of it is negative, like, oh, he's a bad person, he's a bad guy. 99.9% of people do not know the guy personally. They see that on his resume and like, oh my gosh, he's a bad guy. Like, come on, people deserve second chances, and Domingo Herman has struggled this year. He struggled this year and to throw a perfect game. Obviously, MLB thinks he's okay. There's plenty of guys that have made mistakes in baseball that are in the game today for whatever odd reason. Let's just enjoy them for their play on the field. Let's not worry about what they do off the field. MLB will take care of that situation at the end of the day. I just want to get my thoughts out there on what I see out there. It's pretty sad. It's pretty sad that we focus on the negative of a person and not the positive I just accomplished right now. Once in a lifetime thing in Domingo Herman's case, a perfect game. With that being said, y'all, I'm going to sign off. I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts down below in the comment section, and I will talk to you guys again next time. Later.